Welcome everybody to Dad's Gone Crypto. I am your host, Crypto Dad Sean, and Ryan is preparing some smoked meat and food for the family for the 4th of July. So I said I'll take the reins and put together this podcast. I must say I prefer doing podcasts but every now and again we get really busy, and we share the load. So Solana, guys, if you're chatting around a barbecue or a fireplace, some guys are like, no, I don't like Solana. Solana, it's not built properly. It's just FUD. FUD without substance. You have to understand, why did Solana come about? Because people were tired of Ethereum. People were tired of spending the stupid gas fees and the exorbitant fees. If you were in the last bull market, it hurt. You see your profits go up and you're like, yes, I'm in the profits. And then you're like, but if I had to take it out now, I make next to nothing. So because there was a lot of pain points, people were starting to say, well, I don't want to go through those pain points. And also there was a lot of clogging and congestion of the network. So they're saying, why do we have to put up with this? And hence the birth of Solana. It's like, okay, we can do it faster, we can do it better, we can do it cheaper. And that's the main factor, I think, from the cheap perspective. To make a transaction happen on Solana, it's a pleasure. I won't lie. It's an absolute pleasure. And even if you make a mistake and you sent it to the wrong wallet, it doesn't cost you a fortune. You don't feel like the miners are getting all the money and Vitalik is making millions off your transactions. It feels that way. Every transaction, like, he's getting so rich. Anyways, all right. So what's been happening with Solana? It's been an interesting week. Got some bullish findings. And then we've got an ETF that was filed. And then we got blockchain bits. So that's what blockchain bits, blockchain blinks. I'll tell you a bit more about that. But first up, I want to share with you just a little screen over here. I'm going to add it over here. All right. So there's a lot of fun. And even being in the space and reading a lot of information on a daily basis, morning and night, and somewhere in between, you're like, is it really that good? Is it really going to do? Well, we don't entirely know. We have to do more research, go into the deep dive. And these guys, Crypto.news, and this particular person, Tongarol Aliyev, on the 20th of June, 2024, published this article. Let's expose some of the lies about it, because often people will say, it's never going to handle the bull market. It's going to crash. Okay, but just remember, Ethereum didn't handle the bull market very well either, all right? So there's been a lot of upgrades, but let's just have a look at this particular article. A few platforms have faced many skepticism on Solana. Critics often portray it as a centralized network plagued with frequent outages. So it's like, Solana always goes down. Okay, cool. All right. Everybody has its shining day and also their dark days, but how you bounce back from it is, of course, how it develops and people start to build trust in it. So centralization, if you have a look over here, active validators and the Nakamoto coefficient. So we got Solana over here, we got Ethereum over here, we got a Bitcoin over here, active validators. And then I just wanted to show you guys this one here. That's the ETH stakers. Let's just go over here, mining pools, stability. So Solana is known for their high-speed transactions, low fees, and have faced scrutiny regarding their network stability due to several outages that it's experienced in recent years. However, a closer look reveals that the situation might be overblown. The network stability becomes apparent despite the occasional hiccup when examining Solana's uptime history. If you have a look at this little chart over here, 2022 outages are red. Well, there was a couple of outages. Hours that it was out, a hell of a lot of hours that it was out. 2023, basically 2 outages with 19 hours. And 2024, we had 1 with 5 hours. 5 hours might not seem like a lot, but think about you going to the teller, you want to pay for your groceries, and now waiting, and it's all you got. So I put all my digital cards on my cell phone. When my cell phone goes flat, I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to go find a charger or buy a charger to plug it in order to pay. Never mind that petrol story. I had to wait to the petrol garage while my phone charged. Not fun. All right. So when you can't pay for your groceries and can't pay for your fuel using your Solana, and there's especially a lot of companies like PayPal and Stripe coming on board with Solana, you don't not want your transaction to go through. So this 5 hours might mean a big thing. Think about your Visa not going through. It happens every now and again. Then we just blame our telco networks. It's VisaNet seldom gets the complaints. But anyways, long story short, they've come a long way since 2022. So now because they've got PTSD on this, they're like, oh, it's always down, all right? But they're improving their system. Now, this has not obviously tested the bull market yet. So we'll see how that handles. But as long as they keep innovating, that's what we can ask for, right? Nothing is perfect. Scaling is an absolute maverick of a job. So daily active wallets, that's another important one. The daily active wallets. Solana currently has 1.6 million daily active wallets, significantly higher than Ethereum's 367,000 daily active wallets. And of course, you can just see the metrics over here. And we will put this link in our description so you can click to it. Inflows and outflows. Additionally, between April 2023 and June 2024, Solana had 801 million in inflows and 654 in outflows. In contrast, Ethereum had 694 in and 694 out. The result is a net flow of about 150 million for Solana compared to Ethereum's net flow of approximately $70,000. So the other one is DEX volumes. In terms of DEX volumes, Solana has also performed, well, pretty well, they say, and has exceeded Ethereum's trading volumes on several occasions. And we know that. There's a lot of memes on Solana, so that obviously pushes the hype. But memes also allow for stress testing. So as those memes come, the guys get in, and millions of people want to just buy their tokens. Or let me just say hundreds of thousands of people want to buy their tokens. And, it stress tests the system, which is a good thing, right, before the bull market. So let's have a look here. This is a significant increase for Solana's market cap of 63 billion, much smaller than Ethereum's 430 billion. All right, so there's still a lot of room to grow. And additionally, Solana's token was launched only 4 years ago. And Ethereum has been around for about 9 years, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 9 years. All right, 9+ years. Stable transfer volume. Solana's high stable transfer volume stems from its last transactional speeds and low fees, making it attractive for users. The network's ability to process many transactions efficiently supports the high volume activity. Additionally, Solana focuses on scalability and user friendliness, and the experience that drives the dominance of stable transfers. Revenue. Solana's revenue has surged to 50% of Ethereum in mid-2024, an unprecedented high, which is unprecedentedly high. Historically, during the peak activities of 2021 and 2022, Solana's revenue was less than 1% of Ethereum. So that just shows you that adoption is starting to happen on the exchange. Conclusion. Solana's narrative is of centralized is unreliable network does not hold up against the actual data. With its robust technical capabilities and growing adoption, Solana demonstrates a significant progress in resilience. The Nakamoto coefficient shows Solana's decentralization is more favorable than Ethereum, with fewer entities required to collude to disrupt the network. So now, this article is not the be-all, end-all. This should now, from your research, say, I need to know more information. What is the Nakamoto coefficient effect? Go research that. Understand more metrics. And then kind of get a conclusion to saying, well, is this something that I really want to get involved in? Am I happy that my little money babies are kind of staying there for the long term? According to this, being nowhere close to Ethereum and has the potential to move into Ethereum space while Ethereum soars to new highs. That means there's possibly a 6 to 10x on the cards. And that's why a company like VanEck, all right, VanEck has filed for a Solana ETF. Now, who is VanEck? So they are of March 31st, 2024. Thank you, Google AI. Very cool. They're a global investment management firm that is 101 billion, only 101 billion. All right, I think Elon Musk has that in his back pocket under asset management. Okay, so US and international equity, 52 billion, gold and precious metals, 20.7 billion. So this is important because we could see that these guys, because gold and precious metals don't move as crazy as crypto, and now that Bitcoin and Ethereum are getting, well, Bitcoin's got its ETF, Ethereum's waiting for their time to shine, where money will flow in. And then, of course, Solana. Solana will take some time, but these guys have jumped the gun and filed to allow them to, basically ask for permission to have a ETF on the books. And you got to have to understand, these guys just don't decide one day, well, let me just do a Solana because it's cool. They obviously do the research behind what is Solana, their people, who runs it on the back end, and then of course they see the appetite for their clients, because if they're traditionalists, there won't be much bite. If they're new up and comers, there might be a bite. So first to market for the ETF, as you've seen with Bitcoin, the ETF fund, they had some good returns. Now the second wave is coming. So anyways. All right, VanEck, what do? They have they've got ETF funds, they've got mutual funds, they've got institutional funds, and what this means is basically the mom and pop just phones up their broker and says, "Hey, I don't want to worry about keys. I don't want to worry about getting scammed. I don't want to worry about Telegram, people wanting my money. I just phone up my broker and put 1% of my portfolio or 1% of my monthly salary into this high risk asset and just leave it." All right. So that's basically it. The average person can get in safely, and it's protected and it's managed. Yes, these guys take a massive cut on, well, generally brokers take a good cut of your profits every month. But ultimately what you want to do is just, if your risk appetite is there, do it yourself, but otherwise just leave it and obviously get these guys to do it for you. Why does it matter? So there's validation. So in the crypto space, by filing for an ETF, especially a Solana ETF, and I effectively validates the Solana's position as a major player in the cryptocurrency space. So could Solana flip Ethereum? Maybe not. Who knows? This is crypto, but they sure believe that that's the next asset class that could get an ETF. And that's big, because that means that not a few $100s, not a few $1,000s, but billions of dollars could flow into the space, and that market cap could go through the roof. This by speculating and filing for that ETF, it's already caused massive limelight on VanEck, and people are asking the question, where can I get some? Can I get some more, and so forth. It also signifies that Solana has matured in the space and become through like a regulations, and they're playing the right balls for a very stringent company like VanEck to want to invest. Institutional confidence, this can attract more institutional investors, which definitely adds to the growth of Solana. We know that PayPal and Stripe, especially PayPal, have put Solana on their platform, and now the transactions are coming through. So that every transaction that happens, and there's millions of users, that means that the growth of Solana can come through. The question is, how long does it take? It takes long. It takes very long. So the news that we are getting, this week is, it doesn't mean by next week it's going to be ready and we're going to have happy days. It takes time. It could take up to a year. It could take a bit longer. It could take a bit less. Depends what mood Gary's in. And also depends what happens with, obviously, the electoral candidates. Some are pro-crypto, some are less pro-crypto. If it goes in a certain direction, everything might be moved and escalated a lot quicker. Trump is very pro-crypto, and he might just say, well, let's move this along. Let's keep it in America's backyard, and let's push these through. So that's why the speculation is coming through. And no one is left alone. VanEck was the first, but I can tell you now, there's another 10 guys behind him, and girls, companies, should I say, behind him wanting to file, because why should one company get all the returns and basically get their queue system to them first? They also want their clients to basically want they diversify their portfolio. In order for it to be approved, remember, it has to be scrutinized. It takes several months. There has to be rigorous scrutiny. There has to be protection. There has to be a way in which it's done. As you can see with the Ethereum, it went back a few times. And when the SEC is happy, then they say, okay, under these conditions, we can basically accept this. And you got to work within those frameworks. You step out of those frameworks, you get slapped heavily on the wrists. The steps involved, obviously, there's a review process. The SEC will review the application to ensure that it meets the regulatory requirements and the investors are protected, as opposed to you going to buy crypto on the market and it's the wild, wild west. So public comments. So the public has an opportunity to voice their, submit comments on the ETF proposal, which the SEC takes into account. So the public does have a bit of a role. So it's first the review, then it's the public comments, then it's the approval or denial, or basically the correction. So after the review process, after the public comments, there's consideration and feedback, and they will either approve under conditions or disapprove and deny and say, no, we're not going with this route, which I find highly, it shouldn't happen. They shouldn't deny, but there's always reviews, right? So you can expect reviews to happen. So what happens when money flows into crypto, right? So we're just talking, the crypto space is not massive at the moment. It's the moms and pops and the crypto investors that are speculating, but by no means is the volume of money there. You need institutional money. You need government money. You need a lot. So how do you get those people in? Well, the market will be impacted when those people arrive. So obviously the increase in investments, the increase of adoption. Right now it's tricky. It's tricky to figure out how to work a wallet. It's tricky to load money and onboard and then buy and then store it and then keep it and then put it back on and then sell it. Yes, you can use exchanges, fair enough. Coinbase and Binance and Bybit and Blofin, all those guys, do make it a little bit easier, but it's still tricky for the guy that does not really know, and it's daunting and it's scary, right? So it's easier if you can just literally use your app or phone your broker, or just, get it that way, because it takes the pain points out of potentially, you losing or messing up, and there goes your life savings, or there goes your savings, or your monthly investment. The approval leads to a significant influx from the institutional side, and because the retails have found an easy way to get involved. Then they're like, sweet, let's go for it. There is a liquidity boost, so more investors means higher liquidity, which means reduced volatility, so you won't have these massive spikes and drops like we're currently seeing. It kind of stabilizes the price. When it gets, so as Bitcoin, as Ethereum get fatter and fatter and fatter, we have these fewer mass dumps and fewer mass spikes. There is stability. That's why when the institutions come in, it's not a bad thing. They do then tend to control based on the amount of money that they can move in and out, as opposed to the little guy. But it does kind of stabilize the price, a little bit better. And then stability creates confidence, and confidence brings in more money, especially into the Solana ecosystem. When we're talking about institutions, we are talking about the big players, the guys. You see, VanEck has $101 billion of assets under management. So obviously not all of it is going to go through to crypto, but a small portion, right? A small portion of a few billion, let's say 1%, that's 1 or 2 billion. That's one company, right? Times that by 10, 20, 30 companies in America, then times that by each country, then you understand. I know Australia are very pro crypto at the moment, and they just approved an ETF. So now things are starting to happen in different parts of the world. And now when you think about, can Solana improve on its market cap, price, liquidity? Of course it can, right? When more people have access to it easily, then what happens is the market price goes up. So is it unrealistic to say that, Solana, which is currently 127 to 132 at the moment, Could it go to $1,000? You're like, oh my goodness, $1,000. Yes, it could, right? Could it 10x its market cap? It could. But of course, all these things need to play an important role. The ETFs have to come in. With a faster blockchain, with a cheaper blockchain, now we're talking about development, right? So we're talking about just, hey, investments, put your money in, cool, goes up, sell a bit, and play that game. But now, because regulations coming in, frameworks coming in, now developers can say, hey, now I know the box in which I need to build, the box in which I need to take my idea and basically take it to fruition. If you're going to be building on Solana, right, you want to understand the rules before you build this massive empire, and then the SEC comes and says, nope, this is not what we agreed on, this is not what we want, and therefore you have to just tear it all down, which we're talking about millions. It's not cheap to develop, so you invest in millions, and investors' money come in, and you lose it all because you didn't follow the framework. But as this comes in, as it gets approved, it's almost like that stamp of approval. Hey, you can go now. Now people are saying, all right, what can I build? How can I change my industry? How can I develop something that's a game changer for the industry? There's so many problems in crypto, right? So if you're a smarty pants, you just have to look at, how to solve the problem. The fact that you have keys to your wallet and you can lose those keys, it's just ludicrous. What it's Coinbase do? Keyless. They're like, what? Because of the pain points, because they've been listening, they're like, okay, let's do something there. So it's, as the pain comes through, we have to go through pain in order for someone to say, hey, I want to do this better because I don't want, other people to go through my pain points. And by the way, I can make money out of it. Now, what happens? They create an app. What happens? People start to invest and build. Let's say you create a platform, right? And with that platform, it allows you to, so think about when you're building an app. You want to get users. Why? Because you can charge those users. You can charge those users a transactional fee. You can charge those users a monthly subscription. And the more users you have, the more money you make. All right. So you've got to create something that brings that community to your app. Now you have tens of thousands of apps that are all solving problems, and you have good communities that solve that problem. What happens to the ecosystem of Solana? It starts to build. Think about a farm. I'll use the analogy of a farm. I am the farm owner, right? I've set up the farm. I've got all the technologies you need to start your own little farming business. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You go and use my infrastructure. I'm going to charge a little fee. Use my native token on my farm. This is, the Sean coin. And when you go farming and when you create your little business, you just got to use my token, all right? Now, we obviously Solana, we're using the Sean's token as an analogy. But as that farm starts to grow, I have to commit to making sure that there's roads, that there's, if I'm farming, I can have a quick exit to my train to go to the markets, which I can sell, all the infrastructure side. So that's what I do as the landowner. I provide the infrastructure. The Solana provides the infrastructure to allow someone who wants to farm on my land that easy access and quick turnover of cash. So what happens then is, as he starts to grow, he takes up more land. Then his neighbor comes and says, oh, I've got a complementary product. And then the land starts to grow. And think about looking, if you visualize a plot of land and all these dissected pieces, now all these guys are bringing communities to Solana, and all these guys are transacting with Solana. And what happens? It expands, the market cap grows. And that's what happens. So it's imperative that the technologies keep improving on Solana, because it allows for a better experience, better customer experience, happy customer, happy farmer, make more money. And then Solana's ecosystem grows. So simple business model, keep them happy, keep the farmers happy, keep them using your product, keep innovating, and it grows. So you've got to ask the question, is there potential for Solana to go to the market cap of Ethereum? There's a possibility, all right, provided they're hitting all those things. So if the ETF comes, there's a good possibility. What else is in the news at the moment? Well, funny you may ask. Let's pull this up. Blinks. will further empower Solana's growth and adoption. What is blockchain Blinks? Well, it's basically a feature that brings a revolutionary concept of sharing on-chain Solana actions as a regular link. So this can be done anywhere by sharing a link, and then you can interact with this link. According to Solana's developers, that's even included in X, one of the most popular social networks used by the crypto community. You have to provide less steps for the user to interact with what you want them to do, and therefore you'll get more engagement. Let me show you. Okay, you get the gist of this. This is massive, right? So this little NFT over here, I can get someone to buy it through X. So I post the link, and then these links and these tabs become active within the links. It allows people to interact quickly, and if they want this, they can basically purchase. So what Blinks does, it connects Solana's network to the entire internet, which then allows you to do payments. It allows you to vote. It allows donations. It allows you to mint. It allows you to swap. So instead of going to a third party, clicking a link, going to a third party, registering your wallet, registering an account, whatever, it allows you to do it within your Twitter pages or X pages, right? So this is a game changer, because when the need is now, and I want this, and I can afford it, and I want to buy this latest edition soundtrack that's limited edition, and become part of the the latest album. Great. Click the payment, buy now, put in credit card, done. So it allows you to interact in a safe manner. So Blinks will turn Solana's actions into APIs, which then return Solana transactions. This will simplify signing transfers and sending money using native apps, mobile buttons, shareable Blinks, even scannable QR codes. So you scan the QR code, then it takes you to the payment gateway, then it interacts. It's taking away a couple of moments or a couple of steps that you'd normally need to do, allowing for. And I can't remember the project, but they were doing a sale on their project. They put the Blinks. They literally doubled their sales because of this particular link. So you're doing a launch for your new project. Great. You want engagements. So you're trying to get that message out. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Oh, okay, let me just get a little bit. I'm now. Let's go. The need and the desire is now. Get in front of your audience. So it's massive, 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 massive. So Blinks is going to change the way. And think about all those little Blink transactions are using Solana. Okay. And it's affordable and it's cheap. So people don't mind using it because it's basically cheap. So that's the second thing that's been on the news for today. So in a nutshell, Blinks helps lowers the barrier of entry by streaming the transactional processes. The simplification, Blinks allows the transactions of bundling multiple complex systems or steps in a seamless, click and pay or click and receive or click and swap transaction, which happens on the blockchain. The integration is seamless, and Solana exists in the infrastructure, ensuring smooth user experience. So that is why speed is important, and that is why stability is important, to allow these things to happen when you want it. You don't want to come back the next day and find out that your item was sold out because there was an issue on the blockchain. Simple and user-friendly, very important. The focus is having this more user-centric approach where customer experience. The old legacy crypto is very robust, rough, clunky, difficult. You need a PhD to understand this stuff. Now, with the launch of Blinks, it's going to make things so much more easier. And once again, adoption, because when it's easy to get into crypto, more people will. And lastly, guys, could this work? Could the same Blinks work with Ethereum? Probably not, because there's a huge barrier of Ethereum's expensiveness and its speed. So people don't want clunky, heavy, expensive, right? They want cheap, fast, and seamless and user-friendly transactions. The question is, will Ethereum come up with something similar? Well, at the moment, it's not. I don't think it's possible because what you're trying to achieve is faster transactions, cheaper transactions, and user experience. And Ethereum is anything but that, right? It is expensive, it is clunky, and it can't operate at the speed and cost at which Solana does. So now, utility. Solana has utility just from this one solution that has been plaguing crypto to how to get more normal people, noobs, into the space with ease. Someone thought, well, how do I make this experience easier? And hence Blinks. And Blinks, now the technology is caught up and it speaks the language of the average person. Now the integration is going to happen. So we should see X and other platforms start bubble with retail because of this one ingenious. And this is just one example of Blinks, is that little farm that wants to launch to solve a problem for a user. Now imagine if we had 1,000 of these types of Blinks in a different format. Definitely have the growth of crypto. All right, guys, that concludes our show for today. Tell me in the comments below, are you bullish on Solana just based on what we've learned today? Do your own research, find out more information. Please share some links if you guys have some alpha. We're always keen to learn and update our knowledge. And wish you guys an awesome weekend and a great week ahead. And this is Crypto Dad Sean signing out. And don't forget to subscribe and like. We appreciate it. All right, love you all, guys. Ciao, ciao. Bye.
The material and information presented in this recording are for entertainment purposes only. Do not misconstrue what you hear as investment or trading advice. Always do your own research. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by the guests on this recording are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of Dad's Gone Crypto or its hosts.